Hello everybody, this is Dana with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. I'm coming to you all today with a Yarncrafters chat. In today's video, I have a completed project that I want to show you. I'm also going to show you a couple of items that I picked up with my remaining coupons from the Veterans Day specials that they had at Joann's, and it was just a couple things. And I'm also going to tell you all about an upcoming ambitious knitting project that I want to work on and that I'm actually going to work on as a part of the Yarnbox knit along. So if you're interested in hearing more about this, oh, and I have mail too. So I have mail too. And so if you're interested in seeing what I have to share and getting some projects done, well, then stick around. As always, this will be a great time to hit pause and go and grab your project. I'm not sure about how much time this video will have, and I'm all stuffy in here. But we are going to make it through this video. So hit pause, go grab your stuff, and come right back here. If you're not sticking around, I look forward to talking with you in the next video. And so for everybody else, let's get this thing started. See you in a bit. Okay, I can't remember if I said my name. I do that sometimes. So this is Dana with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. In my introduction, I totally forgot to tell you that I finished a really big race this weekend. So I'm definitely going to show off my blingage that I received from the race. And I'm sure I'll probably have it in the title because that's a big deal for me. But before I get to all of that, hello to everyone watching this video. Hello to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to show you all first what I am wearing, okay? So I have this is a cowl that I made a really long time ago. It is crocheted and made with 100% cotton. I actually have several cones of cotton that I purchased so long ago, and when I was going through it, I wanted to just get rid of some colors, and so I was making this for something else. I cannot recall, and I decided to just close it off. And it's extremely warm in the Houston area. I think the temperature is closer to the 40s, but because of the wind, it feels as if it's in the 20s, and so this got a lot of use today, okay? So with that said, I'm also just a tad bit like runny, stuffy-ish kind of stuff going on all up in here because of the race yesterday. So I shared before, so you're going to hear that. I shared before that I'm working on this health thing, getting my health back in order, getting my body back. And as a part of that, I've been getting back into my running. Now, in the past, the colder months have been an issue for me. When it gets cold, I do not want to run outside because it's cold, and I'm already a cold-bodied person. So adding me with the cold just doesn't agree. This year, what I decided to do is to help combat that, I signed up for these races. There were 3 races in my area, and it's called the Texas Bridge Series. In another one of my update videos, I shared my medals from the first 2, I think. Not my last Yarncrafters chat, but I think it was the one before that. I shared 2 of the medals. So it was 3 races. And if you completed all 3, you got a medal for each one, and then you got an additional medal for completing the series for the year. So I'm going to show you all 4 of the medals because they are so awesome. And no, this has nothing to do with knitting, but many of you know if you are knitting or you're crocheting or you're doing some sort of craft that causes you to be sedentary, that you are sitting for many hours, and that's really not good for us at all. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but what I have been trying to do is I wear a it's similar to the Fitbit, but it's by Jawbone. It's a bracelet, and the really cool thing about this is every hour, if I'm sitting for a full hour without movement, and you can set it to whatever amount of time you want, it'll tell me that I haven't moved in an hour, and that, you know, you're moving your hands, but that's it. So this is good. So I try to get up to stretch. I want to do better, like to do squats or jumping jacks. I haven't graduated to that level yet, but It's coming, okay? It's coming. So with that said, yesterday was the final race. It was over the LaPorte Bridge in Houston. Was in LaPorte, Texas, right outside of Houston. It's one of the, I believe, one of the ship channels for our area, and the bridge was extremely high. And so I'm going to make sure that I insert a picture here. I only have one of it from a distance, and I may need to just find one on the website so that you can see it because the bridge is amazing. But we were running it in cold weather and it was raining. And to say that I finished it is a big deal because in the past, if it started raining too hard, I'm known for calling my husband and saying, come pick me up because it was raining. And it was a half marathon. Unlike the other two races, they were 10Ks, which are 6 miles. This was a half marathon, which was 13.1 miles. And I live to tell you all about it. So let me show you the medals, okay? So the first one was the Kima Toughest 10K. Here it is. And what is really cool about this one is all of them have a moving component. And here's the moving component here. It dangles. The second one that I did was the Galveston Toughest 10K, which was over the Galveston Bridge. And here it is. And the moving component on it, this one, okay, let me move my finger, is this rotates. And all of them have like little sparkly, it's just like major blingage. Okay, there we go. The third one, which was yesterday, was the LaPorte. They call it the LaPorte by the Bay half marathon. And here is the medal for it. And this little lady runs. So let me show you. She goes, dee, 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 dee. I can do it from the back. There it goes. See? She even has a little ponytail. I don't know if they had a dude one or not. But yeah. See that? And that's actually how the bridge looks with the cable lines and everything. So there's that. And one of the cool things that someone on my Facebook fan page told me, and it turned out to be true, is all of the medals can be connected into a circle. So I'm going to show you that as well. And it turns into the star like Texas. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Look. Oh wait, how do I do this? Okay, there it goes. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's not, you can't see the star because I'm holding it up. I'll take a picture and insert it. So that was the 3. You had to complete the race to get them. And then we had, for people that were a part of the series, we had a special little logo on our tags with our runner's bib that showed that we were a part of the series. And when we crossed the finish line, we got a second medal. So here's the second one. This is the final one. Look at this. This is like major. This is, okay, now I'm going to show you. Of course, a Texas medal would have to just, like, it spins. Okay, so I'm going to have to hold it. You ready? Look. It spins. You see that? So I'm done with the race. And here I am. I had this on. I had this on and I was hobbling. So that is a major update for me. I did do one other half marathon 2 weeks ago, and that was not a part of the series. And here was my medal for that. It was the Houston half. And here it is as well. And I'm good and tired. Like, I have earned my keep. And I don't have another race until January 1st. And we may do a small little turkey trot on Thanksgiving Day, but the next big one is January 1st. So that's what I have to share with my medals. And I may share more in a separate video, but it won't be as part of the Yarncrafters chat. I'll do little updates, but it's been really important to me to get back in shape, and especially when I realize the more that I work on my crafting, the more I sit, and I can sit down and literally sit there for hours. My family is really cool in that they will see if I need something to drink or bring me tea and things like that. So I literally don't have to move until I have to go to the restroom or something like that. And so that can mean hours, especially when I get a good movie marathon going. I can sit and just sit and sit and sit and work. And so making sure that I'm working out at least right now, and it's been 3 to 4 days at least a week, and I've been actually bumping that up to where I've been more closer to 5 days a week. And so I encourage you to do the same. I mean, and be healthy and have fun. So dancing and running have been my outlets. So with that said, my finished project had to do with the race in that it was slated to be cold and have thunderstorms. I had made hats but had not made a hat for myself, and I wanted something that will keep my ears warm and keep me warm before and after the race. And so I knitted another 2-in-1. Here's the hat. Here's the one style. Here's the other style. If you, well, I posted some more pictures on my fan page as well as on Instagram, and there's that. I wore this before the race and after the race, and I ended up giving this hat to my son because I did this hat literally. I started it Friday and I did it for a couple hours. So I had to finish it Saturday because the race was early Sunday morning, and so I was in a rush, and I should have knitted it a little bit longer, but I didn't because of time. And so it served its purpose, but it fits my son better than it fits me, especially with these twists in my hair. It was like snug, but it was warm. So it covered my ears. It did its job. So I gave it to him, and I'm going to make me another one. What I was able to do with this hat that I have not done with any of my other 2-in-1s is that I tried out a new method of having the jogless stripes, and it worked out amazingly. So now that new method I'll use from here on out to do my stripes, just so that oh, here it's here. You see that? You can see it just a tiny bit right there. But I felt that whenever I do these hats, the only colors that really stand out if you do the jogless method is whenever I'm doing the white going into a dark color and coming from a dark color. So the white, I usually will see it, but if you look, the gray and the blue, you barely see it. It's just a hint of it. And so that worked out well. I had no issues with adhering the patch, and it fits my son perfectly. So it will be worn, and I still have enough yarn left over to make another one. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make me another one. But the fact that I finished this, I would say maybe 5 hours. Yeah, about 5 hours, 6 tops. And that was with everything, like putting the patch on, closing it off, sewing in. I only had one end to sew in, which was two from my provisional cast on, and in the closing. I only had those two ends to weave in. And this time with this hat, I used the cable provisional cast on, which I enjoyed, but it did slow me down in the beginning because of the extra cable and needles that were in the way. And that probably made me a little off for probably the first 5 to 7 rounds. And then after that, it went smoothly and it went wonderfully once I was going and it was further down. And so that was my finished project. Right now, as far as my current projects, I am still slowly knitting on the poncho, the Madison poncho. And that's the one that I'm actively working on. And that will be worked on slowly as I put it to the side for what I'm going to show you later in this video as far as my upcoming project that I plan to cast on today or tomorrow. So that's that. The next thing I want to show you is some of the things that I did, and this is like another mini haul, kind of like the last one. I had, coupons left from the Veterans Day sale for Joann's. It wasn't technically the Veterans Day. I'll take that back. They had a brochure that had veterans coupons, and then it had some additional ones where you got 25% off your entire purchase, and that fell after the veterans coupons. So I bought these with that 25% off coupon, and I had an additional 60% off coupon. I stated in the last Yarncrafters chat with that when I have those 25% off coupons, I love to go for things that are already on sale because then you get that additional 25% off when the coupon says on sale and no, on regular and sale items. So that's what the coupon says. So I used one and my daughter used the other one. So on to what I purchased. I know about the yarn, but I got this anyway. So the first thing that I bought was this. This is the Burnett Collegiate Chunky. And this is a super bulky. It is 14 ounces. The color is gray heather and it has 431 yards. I bought this because I want to I want to try to make one of those 1 hour cowls that is in the, it's not in, oh, it's on the Craftsy YouTube page. They have this really nice one that's a cable one, and they say it's 1 hour. I'm going to test the theory, especially since I did that hat in like 5 to 6 hours. I want to see if I really could do that cowl in 1 hour. And this is enough yarn to do the entire thing, and I got this. It was already on sale. All of the collegiate yarn was, and so I bought this to test out that 1 hour cowl. And if you all are interested in seeing whether I do it or not, I'm certain I will post something on my Instagram and on the blog too. I will do it on the blog. I didn't for the hat, but I think I may do something on the blog to show if I'm able to complete it in an hour, and if not, how long it takes me. And so that was that. I also purchased some of the Red Heart Boutique Sassy Fabric. I picked out one and my daughter picked out the other. I'm going to make these up and we're just going to share them for the colder months just as a pop of color for whenever we wear things throughout the I guess the rest of fall and the winter time. But I thought these was really nice. I'm really excited about this one. And this is a little bit different than the ribbon yarn, which I did a tutorial on before. And so I'm interested in seeing how these work up. These were also on sale, so I was able to, this was all done with the coupon. Lastly, I purchased these. This is a scarf pin. And here was the other scarf pin. I was super excited about these because they were normally $7.99 and they were on sale for either 30 or 35% off. And then I had that additional 25. So these were still so excited about those. My shopping collection is growing. And the final item, well, no, I can't say the final item. The other item that I purchased is the other two items that I purchased are going to go along with what I'm going to show you next. So I'll save those for just one more moment. Now, actually, I'm going to do it all together. I keep wanting to say nitpicks, but that's not it. I don't know. It's a hair or something in my eye. Yarnbox. Yarnbox announced that they were going to do a knit along and a crochet along for the from November 17th through the first part of January. I can't remember what the date is. I will insert it in this video. They have different threads, and each thread on their Ravelry, I know. I saw Monica's video, and I know I butcher it every time someone says the way I say it. For the pet peeves video. They have different threads for the different types of projects. There's one for around the neck, which can be scarves, cowls, shawls. They have socks. They had, I believe, sweaters, and I believe it was one other one. Each thread, when you complete a project, will put you in the running for the prize that they have associated with that thread. The project must contain at least 50% yarn that came from a Yarnbox subscription or from a Yarnbox purchase, because they do sell some of the yarn left over after their yarn boxes go out. And so that's a place you should check too, if you are looking for some of the yarns that I show in my yarn box videos. And I don't know if you can purchase those if you don't subscribe, but because it's in our account page, and so I'm not certain about that. So check into that if you're interested. With that said, they announced it. But before they announced it, I already had my eyes on this project. If any of you are in on any of the threads on Ravelry, I've mentioned it a couple times. I saw this picture, and right now I'm going to just run the project page so you'll see. It's the Celestrian, and I may be saying that incorrect. But I saw the picture. Don't know how I stumbled upon it. I can't even remember if I clicked it from someone's comment or whatever. However, I found my way to it. I could not get that project out of my head. It is so beautiful. And so I was reading it, and I went through my normal process of how I select my patterns, which is I always go through the preliminary stuff, and then I go through the project pages, and I read the notes, and I read the comments. And as I was reading through the comments, something stood out to me. And it was that the pattern was either majority or it was all charted. And that made me freeze. And I said, oh no, because to this date, I have not done a fully charted pattern. I read patterns. I use patterns a lot. As if you follow me, you know that. But I had not done a charted pattern. I know enough about them to be familiar, but not to just like tackle a full project. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to go on that like that major wish list, like far out in the future. So it was still in my head. Stayed in my head, stayed in my head, stayed in my head. Then I got the yarn from my yarn box. And if I'm not mistaken, it was in my October yarn box. And I saw that and I was like, oh my goodness, this yarn would be perfect. I'm going to show that yarn here. I said, okay, I think this is the yarn. So I had a day of nothing but, well, not a full day. I did a few hours one night and a few hours the next morning of putting some of my hanks of yarn into cakes for projects and putting them in project bags and just getting organized. And once I saw it in the cake, I was like, this yarn and that pattern are meant to be together. They're meant to be together. So I said, okay, maybe I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm going to do it. I talked to a few people, some of the people that subscribe to this channel. I thank you all. Some of them that we just go back and forth by email, and some of my, I call them my knitting pen pals. We talked about it because I just wanted to do this pattern, and I was so scared because it is charted. So they all gave me fantastic advice, and I'm telling you about this because I am going to attempt this pattern as a part of the Yarnbox knit along. Now, to do the pattern, I had to get a couple of things, and that's what I'm going to show you next. I'm going to be asking for help. I just feel it in my bones because I printed the pattern, but I have not read it yet. That's how nervous I am. But it's going to happen. So before they announced that they were going to do this knit along, I had put in my head that I was going to end 2014 with a bang. And that bang was going to be to close out the year with this pattern. That means my goal is to finish this pattern. Now, all the other project pages that I've seen, it has taken them months. And so I don't know how I'm going to do it. But that's my plan. I mean, this year, and I'll say this because this is November, so this is going to give me like a month and a half to do it. 2014, as far as my knitting is concerned, has been excellent. I did my first sweaters. I did my first socks. I did several shawls, and I worked with little needles and little yarn, which was a big deal for me. And so I've seen myself grow and progress, and just knitting with that cashmere, even though that was supposed to be a simple pattern, was just like, it was like the doors to my knitting future opened. So I I just thought this would be a great way to end the year. To say that I've been able to knit a charted pattern, no matter how simple or complicated it is a big accomplishment, especially when I don't think any of it is written instructions except for the beginning. So I don't know. I'm going to look at it and decide, but as it is, like as I'm saying now, I'm going to do it. So that's me, making the declaration right there. So here the pattern, I showed you that. I showed you the yarn. So with the suggestions of some of my knitting buddies, I purchased a couple of items to help me with this project. The one thing that was said repeatedly over and over again is that I should get a pattern holder. And so I bought this pattern holder, which was the large knitting pattern holder by Knitter's Pride. I bought this when my local yarn store had their anniversary sale, so I got this for a really good price. It was, I think I got it for 25% off, I think. And it had the magnets in there and everything. They had a smaller one, but I went ahead and bought this one because it is 8.5. It'll fit a standard size page. Let me see. See, that's the pattern. So it's the size of a standard page. So I bought that. Also, if you notice in the pictures from the project page, the pattern requires you to have beads, and I believe it's over 300 beads. So I found some beads that I think will be perfect for it. So I'm going to show you here, which I ordered online. I'm just hoping I have a crochet hook small enough to go inside. I bought 4 tubes of these. They are, there they go. Let's see. They are silver lined. The color, I don't know what it's called, but they're almost like a light purple or a lilac color, and they're lined with silver. And so here are the beads. And then I received mail from one of my subscribers, and I will consider her a knitting buddy and a knitting friend. And I have there has been certain every big project. Let me put it that way. Every big project for this past year, I have in some way, shape, form, or fashion had support from her, not just in a sense of comments on my page. And I really appreciate it. She will email me and send me resources and books to guide me and videos to help me. And I just I can't express in words other than thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, of what that has meant and when I was doing my socks and my sweaters. And so yet again, she just came through like a champ. And so she sent me this book, and it is BJ. And she said I can say, now look, I'm gonna pause for a second. I saw that Pet Peeves video. I hope you've seen it, by Monica, a Melon Bee shop. Almost everything she said, I do, which was hilarious to me, and it had me frozen in place. So I usually will not mention when someone sends me items in the mail without their permission. And I do that because I just feel like I like sharing the information, because usually it's pertaining to something that I'm doing and it's helpful, and it's also to say thank you to that person. And I don't think it's always that everyone must know who that person is in order for them to hear my thank you and to see my face as I'm looking at the item that they purchased for me. And so if they give me permission, I will say their name. And another thing is, especially if people are subscribed to my channel, they know that I showed them in the video. And so if they give me permission, I say their name. If they don't, I don't. And so with that said, she sent me this wonderful book, which is called Charts Made Simple, Understanding Knitting Charts Visually. And it says, you are holding in your hands the only book you will ever need to teach yourself how to knit from a chart. And that was a quote. And when I saw it, I was like, because she knows I want to make this, you know, BJ, that I want to make this. And so I was not freaking out, but kind of freaking out once I saw the pattern and it was all coming together. And she said she had something on the way that would help me. And I kept thinking, oh my goodness, I hope she doesn't send me a pattern holder, because I already bought a pattern holder. But I wasn't going to share it in the video until I had all the pieces to get ready for this pattern together. And then it was this. So thank you so much. I will tell you all how I like the book and how helpful it is to me as I go along in this process. It has everything, and what I've liked so far is it has the pictures as if you're knitting, as well as the charted directions, which I think is amazing. Many people, oh, no, I'm not going to say many. When I'm teaching, I found that a lot of people learn knitting and crocheting visually, hands on. Somebody showed them. So when you get to things, whether it's charts or written instructions, we freeze up because we don't always know how to translate what we're doing with our hands or naturally begin to do with the yarn and our needles and our hooks into the written word or into the charts. And so the fact that they have both, I think it makes it so that it will help transfer what you already know into that new skill set. And so I'm looking forward to that. There was another area that this was another one. Like this, see how it has the things side by side. And that's another thing is whenever you're knitting, it's easier to see when you go wrong or to correct your mistakes when you know how to read your knitting and know how it's supposed to look. Yeah, because sometimes my stuff's a little shaky, but how it's supposed to look against what you have. And so I am very appreciative. Thank you so much for this. I will use it and I will share with you all how that goes once it's all done. And what I loved also is her card had butterflies. I love butterflies. Okay, so I think that's it. So what's it next up for me is I am going to get ready to cast on for this knit along. I am going to share my progress on my blog. If you all are interested in maybe little snippet updates by video or something during the time of the knit along, let me know in the comment section, because I can always take them while I'm working and then post them. Or we can also, I don't know, whether it's message or there's going to be a thread on the Yarnbox thread that I may update on. But because I'm going to try my best to get this done by the end of the year, by December 31st, I know I'm going to be knitting a lot, because so that means everything else is going to be going to the side. It also means that I will not be knitting any holiday gifts. The only other thing that I will probably work on will be the poncho, because like I said in the last video, it helps me to balance projects with little needles and projects with big needles, just to keep my hands and my shoulders and everything in working order to be able to continue to knit. And so that is it for this video. I hope this has been beneficial, that you've enjoyed this, that you got some work done while you are watching this. So my questions are now for you. If you are a subscriber to Yarnbox, are you planning to join in the knit along or the crochet along? If so, what projects are you interested in doing? The other question would be, have you knitted, I'm not going to say, well, knitted or crocheted with charts. And that's what's so funny. It's like I've done it with crochet and I don't see that as being difficult. I don't know why I see the knitting as being as difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just not used to the symbols versus with crochet. I know the symbols when I see them, so I don't know. But if you've knitted by or crocheted by using charts, and what your experience has been, and what would be your number one tip for someone attempting it for their first time? Be very clear because I save your tips. The ones that are really good, like I copy and paste them and put them in my project folder on my computer. So let me know. And lastly, are you working on holiday gifts? And if so, what are you working on? What are you making? I've been in the last thread, people were making hats and scarves, and they were making things for little ones. And so I'd love to know what you're making up for the holidays. And we can just, meet, chat it up in the comment section. Forgive me in this because I sound different to myself. So I know I probably sound different to you. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I look forward to interacting with you all in the comment section. You can always find me online at essenceofme.com. I'm also on Essence of Me on Facebook, and on Instagram, I'm Dana Pittman Online, so that you can follow me there. I do post pictures of my crafting as well as my health and some of my family, but not a lot of my family, unless we're doing something like this past weekend. So that is it. If you have something to help your girl out, let me know, because I have a feeling it is going to go from excitement to terror with the blink of an eye. Yeah. And this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with. This pattern, I'm going to show you. It doesn't seem like it's really hard, but the fact that it's literally, I think it's 6 or 7 pages of charts that are not necessarily vertical. How do you describe it? They're not just transitioning from like the center out, but some of them are meant to go sideways. So you gotta know which one. Yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I look forward to commenting and interacting with you in the comment section. And that's it. I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. Take care and goodbye.